What's up? Hello. My name is Liz, and you're watching For Booking Out Loud. So, today I'm going to be talking about my favorite audiobooks. I personally love the audiobook format. Let's go format. I love the audiobook format, and I think some books are just so well done on audiobook that I can't help but want to read them through audiobook. I have been listening to audiobooks for probably 4 or 5 years now, consistently. And I think it's a great way to read a book if you, by chance, don't have time to, or you get distracted easily, or you just want to sit down and listen to something that will take you away. And so today I'm going to be sharing my top 6 audiobooks. Now, I wanted to make sure that these were books that I have actually read and experienced, and I'm very comfortable saying that they are beautifully done. I think audiobooks themselves are a different format than reading per se, and some books work well with both audiobook and a physical book format. And I think, in my mind, some audiobooks or some books themselves are written mainly for audiobooks because I think they just work out really well. So one book I won't be mentioning is Daisy Jones and the Sixth. I personally read it as a physical copy, and I just haven't gotten a chance to listen to the audiobook copy, but I've heard that Daisy Jones and the Sixth is a beautiful audiobook. It has an ensemble cast, and the interview format just really pulls through in audio. Saying that, I have to admit that even just reading the physical format, I fell in love with the book. So there you go. But I know there's some people that absolutely hate Daisy Jones and the Sixth if they haven't experienced the audio version. And that's just different taste. But let's go into my top 6 audiobooks. I'm going to do this list from my top audiobook to my bottom audiobook, saying that hopefully knowing that you all are aware these are my top ones. I would recommend any of these in a heartbeat to someone who enjoys audio. So let's just start with number 1. I don't think anyone would be surprised to hear this if you watched any of my previous videos, but my absolute favorite audiobook and my go-to audiobook is going to be World War Z. This is an audiobook. I think it was one of the first audiobooks I listened to. Not the first one, I will be mentioning that one later, but World War Z in itself is phenomenal audio-wise. It has a huge ensemble cast where the book is interviewing people who have survived the zombie apocalypse or World War Zombie. And you have not only the author narrating some parts of this audiobook, but I would say 10 plus different people for each chapter. And it just really gives you that ambience of a recorded history. Not to mention some of the background noises really make it eerie or scary. Let's be realistic, it is a horror book. But I just fell in love with this audiobook, and I've read it multiple times. When I'm sick, when I'm not feeling well, I like to read horror or listen to horror. I think we've established I'm an interesting character. All right, number 2 is going to be The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. It is narrated by Jim Dale as an audiobook format, and this is actually the format that I initially read this book with. I have gone back and read the physical copy, which I enjoyed a lot as well, but Jim Dale just brings the story to light in new ways, in my opinion. I might be biased too because Jim Dale is the person that narrates the Harry Potter series. And that's the series I listened to audio with my family when they had been coming out. So it has his voice itself has a lot of nostalgia for me, and I relate it to magic and fantasy. And Erin Morgenstern's The Night Circus honestly delivers all of that and more as well. So there you go. Number 3 is going to be American Like Me by America Ferrera. You might know her as an actress. She is pretty well known. I actually don't know what she's done. I just know her name. I think she was in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants for one. And of course, other things. But American Like Me is a series of essays that America Ferrera has collected from people who are either immigrants, daughters and sons of immigrants, and it's just making the argument that America isn't just the people who are born in this country, but everyone else that lives here as well. And this audiobook is wonderful because everyone narrates their own story. So America Ferrera's story, she narrates that one. You have Joy Choi who narrates it, Tim Chow, Eugene Kim, Jennifer Lim, Roxana Arteaga. There's just a huge ensemble, and each story is very unique and very meaningful, and I would highly suggest it if you have not listened to the audiobook or even read the book itself. Number 4. I know I've completely shut down the sequel, but Ready Player One by Ernest Cline is the first audiobook I read, at least by myself and not with my family. It's narrated by Will Wheaton, who does a phenomenal job. And it's just, I think, a really fun book to read through audio. The story in Ready Player One is very ongoing. There's always something to do, some action to take. And I think it really shows well through the audio format. Plus, there's some little tidbits where Ernest Cline knew Will Wheaton was going to narrate, and I think it elevates it personally to the next level, and I do highly suggest reading Ready Player One through audio if you haven't already. Number 5 is going to be Becoming by Michelle Obama, who also narrates her own book, and I think the reason I enjoy Becoming so much is because it's Michelle Obama's voice telling her own story. I think if a memoir is being written or a series of essays or something, and so forth, I want the authors to be reading their own stories because they're the ones that it means the most to, and it's their personal life story. So hearing these stories from them talking is that much better. Plus, Michelle Obama herself is so iconic, and growing up, I've heard speeches from her, I've seen her around, and then hearing her life story through her own words, you almost get a sense of her sitting right next to you, just having a glass of wine or eating dinner together, and she's just telling you about her life. And I really, really enjoy that intimacy almost. And then last but not least, we have number 6, which is going to be The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. And it's narrated by 2 people. You have Kristen Atherton and Michael Fox. And these 2 did a beautiful job telling such an impactful story. So The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker in itself is a retelling of Greek myths, but through the eyes of the women who basically have no voice in that story. You have your main character, Briseis, and then you also have Achilles being narrated. And of course, you have the main character who's narrating the most of the time. And so the switch between Michael Fox and Kristen Atherton was beautiful and seamless. And of course, Kristen is the voice of Briseis, and then Michael Fox is going to be the voice of Achilles. However, it's just a really important story, and I think I was really into it because it was through the audio format. And I just really recommend it because it was done so well, and the story is a Greek myth being told orally, which I also enjoy that little tidbit. But these are my top 6 audiobooks, and there's no way I've read every single audiobook there is. Read, listened to, you know what I mean. So I highly suggest you check out these 6 audios. And I also will always be looking for good audiobooks. So if you have a suggestion, please let me know in the comments below. But I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you next time. Bye.